very excited about being on this webinar with you here today. So I'm really, really happy to welcome you here today on this really powerful 1-hour masterclass where we're going to talk about 3 steps to beat stagnation and thrive in your business. I want to know a little bit, as you guys are rolling in, I see people are coming in now. Where are you from? And just let us know what you're up to, who is here. Just share a little bit where you're from. If you can just type in the chat, like a quick hello, as I do here as well, so that we can kind of stay in touch, because this is really a great way to communicate here. I can't really see you guys, okay, but I can see your chat. So that's fantastic. Just let me know where you're from so that I can see how our audience is all over the place at the moment. So we're also going to from the UK. Okay, fantastic. Familiar, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's great. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to start in a moment. I just want to make sure that everybody's on board. Who else is here? You can just pop in a little hello, and that's great. Okay, right. We're going to start. Fantastic. So it's really good to have you on board here today. And I'm going to get this meeting started with a little question for you guys, because I want to know a little bit what got you here and what is your occupation. If you can type us something into the chat about your occupation, that would be fantastic. And I'd love to know if you've ever felt overwhelmed in your work. This is one of the things that we really want to deal with here. And it is one of the key elements of being a solopreneur or an entrepreneur in your own little business, or maybe in your bigger business. But as you're a leader, you will always feel some kind of stresses and constraints. Okay. And I see a resounding, everyone seems to have been overwhelmed at some point. Okay, that's great. Just finishing that one off, and everybody is answered. Yeah, that's like 100% has answered with yes. So welcome, everybody, even from Jamaica, as I see here. That's great. So we want to get this meeting started now. Today, I have a powerful question for you, and it is about your business, okay? Is your business working you, or are you working your business? Now, I really want you to think about that for a second, because if you are being worked by your business, that means you're not in charge. You will not be able to run your business. You will be suffering overwhelm. You will be stressed out. If you are working your business, you're in charge. You're on top of the pyramid. You're looking down and managing your events. So it's really important to make that distinction, because you want to stay in control. You want to think like you're the CEO, okay? You want to have free headspace. You want to be able to beat overwhelm before it even happens. You want to beat it right at the gate. In fact, you want to even avoid it. That's really what we're here. So what kind of businesses are we looking at? We're looking at people that are working on their own and trying to be everybody, trying to be the operations manager, the finance manager, the CEO, the sales team, the marketing team, the accountant, you name it. That is really something difficult to manage, and the most of it is all within you. So managing yourself in this environment, that's really where it all comes down to. We want you to be able to really figure out how you can shift your mindset. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you with that. I want to give you something today that you can take away that is going to help you deal with yourself in all those different roles while you're running your business, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to feel stressed or stuck, okay? I'll help you to shift into high gear with the right goals. I'll help you to shift to do more in less time. And I'll also help you to shift into alignment with your vision. And when we talk about vision, we're going to be talking a lot about your self-image here today. So that's really the key of that. So guys, you must understand one thing. Your success isn't dependent on what strategy you've picked. There are strategies that are coming and going all the time. You know, you could be surfing the internet and you'll type in a whatever business strategy, and you're going to probably find hundreds. And while they all may work in some way or another, they require the correct mindset to drive them. You can probably make any of them work, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going anywhere. And do you know that 95% of your current results are all based on your mindset? There's only 5% that are actually depending on strategy. So yes, small differences in strategy will vary in your outcomes, but the majority of your outcomes will depend entirely on how your mind is wired up for success or not. And this is what it's all about. So guys, who's excited to learn a little bit about mindset today? Give me a quick yes in the chat if you guys are excited about learning the right mindset so that you can beat stagnation, become unstuck, and really become the master of your business. Anyone there? Yeah, okay, great. So I see you guys all up to speed. I want to just quickly talk about some case studies just so that you guys get an idea. This is my one of my clients. Her name is Mary. She was an interior designer. She didn't succeed in her abilities in her design objects business. She didn't have any confidence in her abilities for success because she had some failures in her previous success, in her previous business, and she got stuck in the same results over and over. After she started a new business, which was growing fast, she started to even look for help to reduce her workload because she was doing so well. She was totally empowered, confident with her abilities, and she now has the tools to deal with anything that life throws at her. And I think that's so powerful. So mindset just goes far beyond even just business. Isn't that great? So this is what I've been briefed. I must tell you guys because of legal reasons, but there it is. I have to tell you that all those clients that I deal with, they get great results, but their results are not typical. Okay. So you can't expect to get something if you don't take actions. I will show you whatever it takes to achieve quantum leaps. But if you don't take actions, you know, you can't get any results. So that just said for the record, I know you guys have heard this before, and I'm not going to bore you with that. Okay, so who is this for? If you are here because you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, then you're at the right place. Or if you find that you don't have time for your life and you're like, whoa, way too long days at the office, no time for life, family doesn't recognize me anymore, or you just feel stuck. You've tried it all, you tried at least 10 different strategies and this and that, and you just feel like nothing works, what to do? Or you're working so hard that you're approaching burnout and you feel the stress. And, you know, 14 hours later, you're still tired, you're trying to go to bed, and all those work issues are still following you. That's not a good place to be. Trust me, I know, I've seen it firsthand in many people that I deal with, and it's a very dangerous place to be. You don't want to be there. Or just simply, you're frustrated because what you've been doing hasn't yielded, hasn't given you any fruit, and you just feel that you got to stop doing what you're doing, and you maybe just taking a step back. What I'm going to show you is how to slow down, reset your mindset, and then you can speed up with absolute confidence that you're on the right track. These are the common problems, okay? Many entrepreneurs find other problems too. You can even relate any of these techniques that we're going to be showing you to other parts of your life. And guess what? Mindset works in just about all areas of your life. So it's very wide reaching. So that said, today, what I want to do with you is I want you to refocus so that you can thrive in confidence. And once you've seen what this program is about today, and it's really about sharing 3 high power value points with you, you're going to see what I mean. We're going to shift your mindset. So there's a huge impact to your mindset. And as we've talked about before, if I haven't, it's 95% of your success. So really important that you understand that this is the key. And it's not just me telling you that. If you look at the people that you work with, that you admire, that you look up to, your mentors, your role models, and you analyze their mindset, you're going to find it's not their strategy that really blows everybody away. It's the way these people operate in their heads, in their minds. And that's what this is all about. So we want to deal with mindset. About me, very briefly, I don't want to spend too much time about me, but this is my professional story, okay? I come traditionally from aviation. I've been the commander of an Airbus 380, working for a global airline, flying all over the world with dozens of crew and hundreds of passengers. During that time, I've been mentoring in aviation my colleagues, my first officers for decades practically. And I've been very interested in mindset and success all the way along because it was somehow the part of my journey to get there. And I've always wanted to know more about it. Then when I became redundant in 2020, I turned my hobby into my profession. And I partnered up with Bob Proctor and became a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant. And that was just a big turning point in my life. That led me to becoming an entrepreneur in a new way, further than what my real estate business was doing at the time. And I'm also an investor. So I've been working in aviation for 33 years, and I've been an employee for 33 years. And suddenly everything has changed. And thanks to the mindset training that I've received, I managed to shift everything around. So yeah, here you can see some images of my earlier days. And unfortunately, because of the digital era coming in a bit later than I started, I don't have pictures of my very early days, but I was paid a few $100s a month working at an airport as a part-time staff. And that's 30 plus years ago. And I used some of these mindset methods that I'm about to share with you as an unconscious competent to develop my career until I was in charge of this large airliner flying all over the world. And that isn't a small step. So I've made big steps being an unconscious competent without knowing what's going on. And I've always studied this stuff, wanting to know more. Now I teach it because I understand it thanks to Bob's material and thanks to the whole process that I've been subject to that helped me to shift from being an employee for 30 plus years to run my own business and loving it. So the key here is to understand one thing. I'm not a rocket scientist, and I'm not trying to blow my trumpet at all. I just want you to know that anyone can do this. If I can do this, anyone can. And you can do this in different areas. You don't have to be switching from employment to business. You can be, scaling your existing business to wherever you want it to be. It doesn't matter. Mindset methods work everywhere. So if you've been struggling recently, I'm going to show you why. But just a short break here. Why? Because folks, I want you to understand, this is an important thing. We're going to teach you some very powerful methods here. And I'd like to ask you to take your phone and just put it on silent. Switch off your web browsers and all the stuff that's going on in the background and your notifications. Get engaged with me here, because if you do, you're going to get so much more out of this. I would suggest maybe to have a pen and paper handy and take some notes of the things that really strike you, because the more you write, the more you think, the more you embed things into your mind. So there will be some question and answer time at the end. And as you can see here in the menu bar, there's a Q&A little icon. So if you have questions, just hold them and just pop them into the question box here, and we'll address them at the end. Fair? Who of you guys is excited to get started with some mindset stuff? Who of you guys is excited to get started in the mindset way? Okay, so that's fantastic. Here, this is how we don't want to do it anymore. This is how it's always been, okay? This is what you've been told. These are the methods that don't work anymore. We've been told, for example, set realistic goals. How many times have you read that? I don't know when you were born, but I've been reading this all through my sort of early years of adulthood. Doesn't work. I'm going to show you how multitasking gets more done. Doesn't work. That's another one of those fake mantras that was out there for some time in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. but we don't multitask. We also learned that working harder gets more done, better results. That's not true. Working hard is a myth. Working smart is the way to go. And that's what we're about to address here today. So we also don't believe in dealing with things as they come up anymore. That's a very reactive way. Nobody does that anymore, and nobody gets anything done that way. Deal with it now and quickly get it out of the way. That's a false myth. That's how it's been for a long time. But I'm going to show you today, in the 3 secrets that we're going to be talking about, how we're going to do things differently and work smart instead of hard. So number 1, we're going to set goals that truly inspire. Then we're going to get more done in less time. Now, that's going to take us straight into our subconscious mind, into our habits, into the way we allocate time, and into some of the myths that are out there haunting us and why they don't work. And lastly, this is so powerful. And I love talking about self-image because I have experienced firsthand that if your self-image isn't in line, you can have all your other ducks lined up. But if that one is missing, it's like you're sabotaging yourself and you will be pulled back all the time, like you're on a little string, on a little rubber band, and you're not going anywhere. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. So who of you guys wants to learn 3 secrets that will change the way you think? Who of you guys wants to learn about these secrets? Who of you guys wants to learn about these 3 items? Okay. Yes, please. I am very excited about you guys being here today. So please engage and share with me your thoughts. Before we get cracking, secret number 1, we're going to just see who of you guys is still here and engaging with me today. Okay, that's great. That's much better. So we're going to talk about setting goals that truly inspire. And when we look at goals, I love looking at this little graphic here, because you can see that goals are not really a straight line achievement. Very often it's, try this, try that, trial and error, but it's always in one direction. And you can see where this is heading. It's always going upwards. This person climbing that mountain is always going upwards. Maybe a little left, maybe a little right, but it's always going upwards. And this is really important to understand, because we can change the way we do things. We can change our path. But when we have a goal, we really lock in on that goal and we become positively obsessed about it. And nothing ever makes us change that goal. And that's what makes goal setting so powerful. So I have a question for you. You, as you're here today, type in the chat, who of you has a written goal? Type in the chat, yes or no, if you have a written goal. Give me a yes or no if you have a written goal. Okay, I want to know, who of you guys has got a written goal? Okay, they're overwhelming yeses. So I see you guys are advanced mode, and that's fantastic to know. So what's the big deal about goals? Well, big goals cause you to grow. It's not about getting things. And that's one of the big mistakes people make. People believe that goals are about getting stuff. Well, it's not really true. Goals cause you to grow, cause you to bring more of you to the surface. What's already been there. But most people don't understand that. They're only focusing on the collateral benefits of reaching your goal or moving towards your goal, which is more money, the fancy lifestyle and all the bigger numbers and bigger games that you're playing. Yes, you're getting bigger as a person, and therefore you will be getting a lot of those things. But the results are just a collateral kind of scenario of growth. Your growth is more important, okay? So we don't want this to be misunderstood. That's the true purpose, is for you to grow. And then we want you to leave your present state, because you're right now in a status quo, all right? Unless you change something, there's a ball, it's sitting on the ground, unless you give it a push, it won't move. So we want you to start giving a ball a push in a certain direction so that it goes towards your goal. And that direction is really key. It might not always, like in golf or in soccer, the ball gets kicked left or right, but ultimately it's designed to go towards the goal. And that's what I meant earlier as well with that graphic. We can change the path to get there, but we never change the goal. So imagine now, here you are, you've got some idea of that you want to be doing something, but you don't know exactly what. What would that look like in daily life? If you don't know where you're going, then you will not go anywhere, okay? If you're vague about it, you're not going anywhere. You have to be specific. When I was a pilot, and I love talking about this because it reminds me of those days and how goal-focused we were. Our goal was, of course, our destination. But everything we did on board of a flight, I mean, before I left the home, I was thinking of my destination. When I got to the briefing room, talking to the crew, I was thinking of our destination. When we were getting the aircraft ready, we were thinking of our destination. So we were constantly thinking about our goal. And once we reached it, boom, it was a reset, and we do it all over again. We think of the next goal. So does that make any sense, guys? We need to have direction. And that way we can give our mind something to do, because otherwise it's going to wander left, it's going to wander right. Your mind needs to be clear on where it's going. Who can relate to that? Give me a quick yes in the chat. Give me a quick yes in the chat if this makes sense to you so far, that you need to have growth, and that growth needs to lead into a direction. Because with that computer of yours, the brain, being like a monkey, it'll jump all over the place. You need to tell it where to go. All right, so that's great. So we've got a direction now. What else have we got? What else have we got to get? We've got to decide what type of goal we want. Yes, thank you, Yvonne. We need to decide what type of goal we're going to go for, because not every goal is created equal. You see, you may have heard this already, but repetition is key. You've heard that as well, so I'm not going to repeat the repetition. There are different types of goals. We know that there are goals that don't really inspire us. If it's my goal to go to the supermarket to buy a bottle of champagne, I can do that. It's not a big goal. Or I can go and buy a new car. It's not a big goal. I can just go and do that. But if I want to have a better goal, one that really strikes me and really gets me to grow, I need a lot more than that. I need a goal that is going to make me do something I have never done before. So the A-type goal is the kind of goal that you know you can do. The B-type goal is the kind of goal where you think you can manage if you give it a little bit of planning and thought. And, you know, we can all sit down with our pen and work it out and the numbers and if this and if that. And next thing you know, you've got a plan and you're trying to figure it out, and it may work. But are you really going to be inspired by it? Because that's what we need. We need inspiration. You're probably not going to achieve that goal because you're going to lose interest in it because it's not interesting enough. Interesting goals are only the ones that make you grow, where you really have to move out of your skin, out of your comfort zone, out of the status quo, and really start moving into a direction, growing beyond yourself and move into a direction. So that's where we start to get interested. We want you to get dreaming. We want you to fantasize. Okay, we're going to talk about that just now, but it needs to scare you a little because leaving the comfort zone is scary, and it needs to be big, okay? And it needs to make you feel excited. If you're not excited about it, it ain't a good goal. So the motto, no excitement, no success. Because all those other goals I just mentioned, the A, B type goals, they will not inspire you. You are not going to pursue them. That's just the way it is. It's been found out over many, many centuries that you will not grow with them. And growth is what it's about. So who wants to get excited about a new goal? Who of you guys is ready to tackle a big goal, one that excites you, yeah, one that inspires you and that scares you a little bit, one that you don't know how to do, and that's okay. The how doesn't really matter at this point. The how will come to you as you start growing. Fantastic. I see you guys are up to speed. Wonderful. So how are we going to do that? What is the process? Okay, let's talk about how goals really work. Goals are part of a vision. Your vision is how you want to live your life. Now, we have different time frames for goals, for visions, and also for your purpose. Your purpose is always there, but you need to find it or it needs to find you. This isn't automatically a pre-requirement right now. But what is a requirement is that you have a vision of your life. And a life vision may extend to 5 to 10 years from now. So we want to think, what do we want our life to look like in 5 or 10 years? And you start to see all these things that are in there. It might be a beautiful home. It might be a wonderful family. It might be a great prosperous business with lots and lots of employees and with a certain turnover. All those things may be in that vision. But what we want to do now is we want to pick one of them. We want to pick one of those and say, well, this is one of our big goals. We want to pick one that we call a C-type goal out of that vision. But we want to bring something into our focus that is within 3 to 12 months. Otherwise, it's too big and we can't really get a grip on it. It's just, you can't swallow more than you can put into your mouth. So you got to be able to find something that you can actually grip. So that's why we pick goals that are somewhere in the range of 3 to 12 months in that cone of your vision. Does that make sense? 5 years, yeah. Exactly. So 5 years is the vision. And you want to make sure that when you think of that goal, it makes you feel good. Because if it doesn't, it's not on purpose. Purpose is something that is harder to define, harder to get, but you can sort of boil it down to something simple. Purpose is when you're in love with something, you love doing it, you're obsessed about it, makes you feel good. Then you know you're on purpose. Next thing we want to do, we want to be specific. Okay, we need to be more than just, oh, I want to feel good, I want a lot of money. That doesn't work. Your subconscious, where you're writing your goal, you're imprinting your goal, this is like your mechanism, needs specific instructions. It needs to have a specific image. And we're going to talk about images later. And once you have a specific plan for it, or an idea of what that looks like, then you can write that on a goal card, on a short, powerful statement. I have a goal card here, in fact. There's a goal card as my goal on the back. It's a short statement, very powerful, of what I want to achieve in the next time frame. In fact, that's the next question here. We want you to put a time frame. My goal cards always have a date on it, a target date, so that your brain gets something to do. You remember when you were in school, you were doing exams, or in university, the last few days before the exams, you were really cramming and you were pushing and you were stretching and you were powering yourself up. And you're going to do the same with your goal. It just drives more out of you to the surface and it works. So you want a date on it as well. And then, this is probably the most important part, you need to take immediate action. You need to take at least one powerful action step that confirms and tells your mind this is serious. You mean it, you really want this, and you're not just playing. Because we've set so many goals on New Year's Eve and, in casual conversation that we almost instantly forget, or we forget a week later. Now you got to really tell your mind, I mean it. One action step, that's what we need. Because if you don't have an action step, it just becomes like the others, just something, fancy out of the blue that'll be forgotten in a moment. So here's a question for you. Have you ever thought of a goal that somebody else told you was unrealistic, or even you yourself told you was unrealistic or too big or just plain crazy? But yet you like the idea. You secretly love it, but you've always rejected it yourself. Have you ever had a goal? I'm not asking you to write it, to tell me what it is, but just put something into the chat. If you've had a goal, a dream, a vision, a fantasy that you've always wanted, but never dared to express because it just seemed like it's just too big or too just crazy, or other people might say things, or other people might judge you. We're always afraid of that, aren't we? So lastly, okay, I haven't had any responses here. Have you guys had a crazy goal? Come on, let's hear about it. Have you guys had a crazy goal? Something that you didn't dare to tell? Yes or no? Somebody must have had a crazy goal. Yeah, that's what happens. Fear jumps in. And I know, but there is a way to process fear as well. And we do that in our programs normally. But back to this. So if it's been done before, you can do it too. Now, I learned that to truly go for what I want, that I should not go for what I think I can get. I need to go for what I want. And that is how I feel inspired. That's how I get more of me to the surface, okay? Because when you're growing, you're not just growing in status or in money. You're growing in your awareness. That is the first thing that happens. The first thing happens, your consciousness grows. And with that, everything changes and you see things differently. Ideas come to you. And that's how the how happens. The how happens through you growing, moving into that direction of your decided goal. That's why we need that direction. We need to have direction. So we don't want to worry about the how. That happens as you're growing. And then if you don't have a goal, you're not successful, because you can only be successful if you're moving into one direction, okay? And that's really the key. So how does setting a new exciting goal sound to you today? Wow, I like that goal, Douglas. That's fantastic. And you know, with the right mindset, you will find the right strategy to put that in place. So first we lay the foundation with the right mindset. That's the way we go. So we see that there is already people with great goals out here. Are you guys excited about setting a new goal? Give me a quick something in the chat, a yes, no, maybe, haven't thought about it. I'll talk to you a little bit about one of my clients, Bernd, another German fellow who I met in Dubai. He was looking for the next level of business success and felt stagnated, a little bit like what we're trying to address today. And he was stuck with poorly defined goals, but he wanted multiple sources of income. After working together, he started a new business in a foreign country and growing his goals and focused on it completely. And his multiple sources of income are thereby also on the way, and he's doing fantastic. So goal setting is very powerful. And we'll move on to the next step here, which is to get more done in less time. I love this one, because this is what we call the knowing doing gap. Now, mindset people will be aware of what this means. And the knowing doing gap is really like this. It is, you know what to do, but you're not doing it. That's the gap we're talking about. The gap, or you can call it left to right, up or down. It's that you know that 96 to 98% of your results actually come from a place where you don't have any conscious control. Being a former pilot, I love the term autopilot. Now, we truly run on autopilot, and this is fact. We run on autopilot and we don't really take conscious control. We don't have access to that. There's a lot of information that goes into our subconscious mind, programs the autopilot, but we're often not doing it consciously. Most of it is done by the environment. So, and that is the same with the way we spend our days, the way we plan our activities, okay? That all is in our subconscious mind. This autopilot is in our subconscious mind. We call it paradigm, and it's located there in the subconscious. The paradigm now is a multitude of habits and behaviors that make us run on autopilot virtually all of the time. If you agree with me, 98% is pretty close to 100. Now, this concept requires us to understand that the brain, or not the brain, the mind is really divided into two parts. We have the conscious mind, which is how we can call that the sort of the leadership center, the control center. We don't use it much these days anymore because just the way humans are evolving. But the subconscious mind is always there. It's always getting programmed whether we like it or not. It's always being fed. And that part runs our doing. Conscious mind runs our thinking and our knowing. But we know what to do, we don't do it. Why? Think of it that way. If you have made a decision, you've decided you're not going to eat any more cakes in the afternoon. Germany, we have a big tradition of cakes in the afternoon. It's huge. My wife decided she's not going to have any more cake. But every now and then, She can't resist. And that's what we call the knowing doing gap. You do it, but you can't control your behavior all the time. Or let's reverse that. You're on a task, and we'll talk about tasks just now. You've decided you're not going to allow anybody to distract you. You're going to work 90 minutes flat on a certain task, or 25 minutes perhaps. And as soon as your phone pings, there's a message, you can't resist looking at it. That's the knowing doing gap. You know it's not good. You know it's not getting you productivity, but you're doing it anyway. And so we want to address that here. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how really we get into habits. I'm just looking at one of the comments here. Yeah, great. I like that, Douglas. I'd love to hear more about that. Maybe we can have a chat about that later on. That sounds interesting. So back to how the knowing doing gap shows up. So it's about knowing what to do, but you have ineffective habit patterns because we've been just trained by our environment just to follow what everybody is doing. Everybody picks up the phone at all times, so we do the same. You quickly answer that message that just came in. Yep, because it's just habitual. Well, guess what? Those habits are something we can change, okay? You know, if you want to be effective in your work, you need to start doing something differently. And that is, you need to start only doing one thing at one time. One thing at one time. And if you can focus on doing one thing at one time, you blend out everything else automatically. And once you do that, the other things just don't fall into your focus anymore. Okay, so we want to stop putting attention onto all those distractions that come along and just focus on one thing and make that decision very consciously, one thing at one time. And thereby you automatically cannot allow any distractions. You can schedule your distractions or your emails, your messages at a later time. And that's fine. You know, there's always a break here or there, and that's how we should do it. And that's how you get stuff done. Distractions are one of the biggest enemies to effectivity today. And when we're talking about habit patterns, what I'd like you to do is do this. When we're finished here, take a pen and paper, write down what you did all day yesterday, from the moment you got out of bed until the moment you went to bed. And I'm almost certain that you're going to find lots and lots of spaces where you could have probably been more effective, where you gave in to some temptation, or where maybe you didn't do what you thought you should be doing. But you can run it over 3 days just to find a good average. And there's so much wasted time. And if we use our activities effectively and plan them properly, you can get so much more done. And specifically by doing just one thing at one time and allowing no distractions. Do the distractions, put them in a bag and put them on the side and get to them later. Okay, that's really important. In point number 3, this is my absolute favorite in this topic. You think you have to do everything yourself. It's just the call of your ego. Yes, micromanagement is rampant in this particular phrase. Okay, so I'm very prone to this. I used to do that a lot until I started to learn to delegate. In fact, I learned that there's 3 Ds. Okay, do it yourself if you're good at it, if you like doing it, if this is something that helps you, then do it. But if you're not keen on doing it, if it's not something that helps you directly, if you don't have a particular favor for it, then find somebody who has the ability to do it well and delegate it to that person. Why? Because somebody who does something well will do it a lot better than you if you don't like doing well. For example, I don't like certain things in marketing. I don't want to spend too many hours on social media every day. So I'm outsourcing that. I'm letting somebody else handle that. And that makes me feel good. It frees up my time and I have time to think again overall and feel like I'm in charge of this company. And then the last D out of the doers or delegated is ask yourself one key question for every task that you think that you're doing right now that you think is important. Is it really? Is this task going to make any impact on your overall success? Will it change your bottom line? If you spend time with this task, will it increase your sales? Will it get you more business? Will it make you become more effective? Will it have any positive impact that will increase your bottom line? And if it's just some little thing that is just a little tuning of something that could be a little bit better, guess what? You're going to spend probably hours doing it, and it's not going to show up at all. So ditch it. That's the third D. Ditch it. Don't waste any time with activities that actually don't impact your business success. I think this is a big one, because once you start freeing up your time, you suddenly become the boss of your company again. And you can, like, it's like you're sitting on a drone. You raise above the forest, stop looking at each individual tree and the shrubs that are blinding you. You can't see where you're going anymore. And you see the forest and you see all the pathways leading into it. You're looking from above. Now you have time. You can delegate some task over here. You see where you're heading. You can strategize what you're going to do. This is the way to go. That makes you the CEO. That's how you get unstuck. That's how you become the master of your business. You open up your vision, your visibility becomes open, and you stop wasting time with tasks that you shouldn't be doing and that are just cluttering up your time and your brain. My brain, at least, I don't know about yours, mine has finite capacity. I want it to have as much time as I can. And lastly, multitasking. I will just brush over this. This is so obvious. The brain can only hold one thought at one time. This has been proven by scientists. Yet we're trying to clutter our brain with lots and lots of things that we want to do at the same time, and we're switching from one task to another. Remember, only one is possible in any given space of time. So why don't we just stick to doing one thing at one time? Stick to one task, be really focused on it, and then go to the next task. I have a beautiful template I use, and in fact, I use it every day. This is my Goal Achievers template. I write down my things that I'm going to do every day, and I'll just stick with it. I run from the top to the bottom, and that's all I'm going to do for that day. And if I've done it earlier than I'm finished, then I've done my job, and I can just say, hey, another day, another dollar. Troward said that very well. He said, order is heaven's first law. And if you can't have order in your mind, and you're here and there, and quickly answering that message, and allowing another distraction, and you think you can also run this other project on the side, forget it. You're not being productive. And I think you know it. So who of you is guilty of multitasking and trying to do everything at the same time? Give me a quick yes in the chat. I want to see if you guys are still here. I've been talking a lot. I want to see if you guys are still here. So who of you guys is guilty of ever having multitasks or trying to do too many things at the same time? The yeses are rolling in. Okay, yeah. And I think, to be fair, I've done it many times, and I still catch myself doing it. So this was me, and here I am, guilty. Thanks to the material that I studied, with good measure. Okay, that's great. I would suggest just to do one thing at one time. If you try it and you really stick with it, I think you're going to get more done, and you can experiment with that. So I studied this material, and I learned that to put great working habits on easy autopilot is by going straight to the cause of the behavior in the paradigm. Cause of the behavior means not trying to control the behavior itself, but by rewriting the program that causes this behavior. So that's where we go straight to the paradigm, and that brings true results. If you're trying to work directly on your behavior, like so many people do, your results will be poor. Very few people manage to achieve great success on the paradigm, on the behavior itself. It requires an enormous amount of willpower. And we wake up in the morning with a small cup of willpower, and it depletes very quickly. So we use autosuggestion to get things into your paradigm. Autosuggestion, as Napoleon Hills said, is the keystone to the arch of the philosophy of success. So it is really the way you've been programmed already for all your life. All your life, you've been programmed to be who you are today. Your results reflect that. Now, you need to use the same methods in a controlled way to change your programming. And that's not difficult. It just requires a little bit of effort. You just need to keep reaffirming something that is what you want to do, a behavior that you want to do. And that's how autosuggestion works. Trying will not work. Reprogramming your autopilot will bring true results. And just to be clear, this is what Buckminster Fuller said. He said, in order to change an existing paradigm, we do not struggle to try and change the problematic model. You create a new model and thereby make the old one obsolete. So we never we never try to change something, we just replace it with something better. So this was me, and I slept late every morning. I was tired all day long. I reacted to countless tasks at random, and I had a 12 to 14-hour workday with very ineffective work in the beginning. Now I wake up fresh before 6 a.m., no alarm, and I always wake up on the perfect time for my body. I start my day with study and exercise, which is something I never did before. I did that in the afternoon, and I studied only for my aviation. And I work effectively, and my workload really is like I've tripled it. I can do so much more now because I'm moving one thing at a time, and I've programmed myself to follow a pattern that works. And I can get my stuff done in 6 to 8 hours. And I'm happy with that. This is how I want to live. So give me a yes if you understand the concept here. Paradigm reprogramming requires autosuggesting. Willfully trying to change your behavior will not work. Give me a quick yes if that makes sense to you guys. Or let me know how that resonates with you. Yeah, I know. This is tricky. Being a mother is always challenging. I totally relate to that. Yet there are some measures that you can apply, at least during certain times when you know that you can, have more peace than other times when you know your kids are active. Yeah. So now we're jumping in to the last one. And I love this one because this has been fundamental to my progress. Is your self-image sabotaging you? Now look at this image. This image tells me sabotage. That mighty great big lion, the way he or she, I think this is a male lion, sees himself is as a little kitten. So the paradigm that we talked about in the context of habits also controls your self-image, the way you see yourself secretly. Okay. But the thing is, you're a powerful and incredible being. You can do anything you want. You just don't know that you've been programming your image with all the things that went wrong. We tend to focus on the negatives. So you start to put yourself in a cage of, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can only limit myself to this and that. And that's what your self-image does. It just pulls you back to stay at that set point all the time. Okay. You cannot outgrow this naturally. And if you can, it'll take many years in only incremental changes. But you can, like we saw from Fuller, you can replace it by creating a new image. And that can be an upgraded image. Oh, wow. That's interesting, Douglas. That's a big challenge. And I can relate to that too, because I know people in your situation too, close to my family as well. That's a big deal. But I would love to have a chat with you at a later point about that. So Douglas is talking about having brain surgery, etc. So that is a big deal. Back to cybernetics. There is a set point, okay? And this is what cybernetics is all about. And Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered that back in the 60s. And he came up with the discovery that we can never outgrow this, but we can change it. And we're going to look at that now. So who wants to learn, by the way, who wants to learn how to change your self-image? Who wants to learn how to change your self-image? Who wants to learn to be in that picture? Isn't that a much better proposition? That's how we want to see ourselves. This constitutes the growth that we looked at in the first session here, in the first secret. So we want to see ourselves bigger than we are today. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, you must know that there's only two principles in the two things in the universe as a fundamental principle. That is, everything either grows or it disintegrates. And if you're not growing, you are slowly sliding backwards towards disintegration. So there is no such a thing as a standstill. You disintegrate. So we want you to be on the other side of things. We want you to be growing, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to develop a script here for you of how you see yourself in your business and as a collateral image in your life as a result, okay? The lifestyle you'll be enjoying as a result, okay? So we want to change that cybernetic mechanism, and we want to change the set point in your subconscious mind. Now, we don't have easy access to that, do we? But through auto-suggesting an image of who you want to be, of who you are, who you're capable of being, of who your next best version is, your successful version, you automatically gravitate towards it. You change the set point and you start moving towards it. You see, if you can see it in your mind, that's an old Bob Proctor quote. You can hold it in your hands. And that is just to say, if you can have an image on the screen of your mind, then that image, if you hold it long enough and give it enough intensity, will eventually have to move into form, because that's how everything is created. The screen you're looking at right now was created through the same principles. Somebody had it in its mind, it got developed because somebody persisted on it. That's how things work. So guys, who here has a limiting self-image? Who here feels that you are more like the first image than the second? Who of you guys feels that you have a limiting image? Or do you see yourself already like that great, big, powerful lion? Let me know. In other words, this is the difference. Yeah, this is the difference between being a pauper or CEO. Your secret self-image has the power to make or break the success in your business and life, because wherever you're set at, that's where your subconscious will always drive your behavior towards, so that you will always get the same results, because that's where the subconscious works. It works with known things. It doesn't like unknown things. So you have to create a new unknown image and start moving towards it, like in the goal setting. That's the key. Now, I call this e-visioneering. Why? Because it takes emotion to enhance, to amplify the magnitude of the achievement that you can have with visualization. So we e-visionize it, and then wait for the bonuses. Wait for the bonus. It'll be there in the end. Yep, I'm going to have it available for you, so you don't need to worry. I've got a checklist for you that's going to help you. So poor thinking habits will create a poor self-image. If you focus on what you don't want, you will have a poor self-image. If you focus on what you do want through great goals, your self-image will improve. You're going to take steps that will confirm to you, little steps, hey, I'm capable of more. And that helps you to get that image going. But what really is the key is just repeat that image in your mind. Self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, the very same man who wrote the Bible, which is called Psycho-Cybernetics, is right here next to me. And he wrote that book on self-image, and he's still the standard in today's world. Now we're talking 60 years later. So what we want to do, we want you to imagine at the time of your goal, what will you be like? What will your life look like? What will your company look like? What will your business look like? What will be the people that you associate with? All of those images together will create a new self-image where you must see yourself in the center of it. This is the key. And if you use the checklist that you will get, if you stay around till the end, and we're not far from the end now. If you stay around till the end, I'm going to show you the checklist, and that checklist will take you through a step-by-step process on how you set yourself up for a perfect e-visioneering session. Okay, that is the key. With that and proper goals, and you wrap them up in a perfect vision and a perfect goal and a perfect idea, a visual idea, then you will automatically program yourself to have the behavior that sets you going towards it. So who of you guys is ready? Who of you guys is ready to create a better image, a better self-image, a more successful self-image, an image of you in your perfect and best version of you? You don't have to be somebody else, but you know that there is more available. You can do more. You know that. I know that. You just need to bring it to the surface. So here we have Anna Williams. She did that very well. She is an affiliate network marketer in Australia. And before, she overloaded herself totally. She was working too many jobs with her business at the side, and she actually experienced a nervous breakdown, a burnout. And so what happened during that time? Her sales declined, and she lost the proper vision for her future and confidence in herself. Afterwards, she's a miracle recovery, according to her physiotherapist, from the burnout, and her sales are increasing again, and she has a crystal clear vision. And her results are astounding. She's just become a master manifester. I'm truly impressed at what she wants to do. So who of you guys wants to join the top league? Who of you guys wants to be in that domain with those people that are really making things happen? Because you know what? It is, you'll be using the same material that Olympic gold medalists are using, that Formula One race car drivers are using, that top CEOs are using. These are the methods. Seeing yourself, having a clear goal, and having a clear, structured way of dealing with your activities. That's the key forward. So, transformation phase, yeah. Okay, well, that's fantastic. I love it. So you don't want to focus on results. You just want to focus on the goals. And that's the key. That's how you manage to blend out the transition. By the way, you're talking about transformation. In every transformation phase has a transition. You're not going to have instant success overnight. So during that transformation and transition phase, be aware that you need to just sternly focus on your goals, not on the results that are at that point perhaps lacking. There's a law of gender, and it says everything takes time. And in that period, you need to just keep doing the work. Water your garden, attend to the weeds that want to be growing, and just keep watering it and nurturing the seed that you've planted, which is your goal, with that vision. So guys, this has been a powerful lesson where we looked at 3 secrets. We looked at goal setting that truly inspires. We wanted to get the most out of you to the surface, not just boring goals that you're not going to be interested in. We showed you on how to really dig into yourself, to find something that inspires you, because that's what you really need. If you're not inspired, you're not growing. And growth is the key to goal setting. We also looked a little bit into getting more done in less time and demystifying some of those ideas of trying to do too many things at one time. And it's really hard. You know, it sounds very simple. It sounds simple to do one thing at a time. And that's the key ingredient to number 2. But if you practice it, you'll be surprised how much further it takes you than the way you've been doing it today. And that even works for people who have a busy household. You can start compartmentalizing things. Then we looked into your self-image. And is it sabotaging you? Most of us suffer from an image that is holding us back from the true growth that we want, from our goals. And you may have got great goals and great habits, but if your image doesn't follow suit, it's going to pull you back like a rubber band, straight back into that glass cage where you can't see the frame, but you know you seem to bump your head all the time. Yeah, and environment is a big one as well. That comes part of moving out of your comfort zone. As you change your comfort zone, you will be moving into a new environment. You'll have new peers, more people that are more interested in what you're interested with. That's very important. Okay, we want to change your environment, of course, in order to make it easier. But people can visualize things just like that and make that change just within them. It helps, of course, if you can change your environment as well and get things done. So we've really had a deep, long look into these 3. And if you Set a goal and put it on a goal card. And if you want a goal card, contact me, I'll send you one. If you analyze your day and you look at how you spend your day, you will find there are things that you probably don't want to be doing. There's that little Netflix time or some idle time that you don't really need. You could use it productively. Change to working on only one thing at a time. And if you look at your self-image and you write down how you see yourself in 6 months' time, in all the trimmings, and you visualize that using the checklist that you're going to get, you're on a long way forward to success. This is the checklist. It's coming for all of you since you guys have been here all this time, and I'm really appreciating that. So there is still a problem though. Okay, I've covered a lot. This has been a value-packed 1 hour. We've talked about the 3 secrets. We've looked at what's holding you back and how to truly overcome stagnation and get you unstuck. But there's a lot that we haven't covered because this is not possible in 1 hour. Okay, I want you to overcome stagnation and thrive with confidence. However, remember, there is so much more. We can look at attitude. There is beliefs that could be limiting you. There's leadership skills that you need if you're going to grow. There are other things like higher mental faculties to stay on course with your goal and not get distracted. There is money blocks in your mind that will stop you from getting the money that you really want from your goals. And changing paradigms is an art, and there's a lot more to be said about it. So I want you guys all to be successful. So therefore, I feel that we need to ask you one powerful question here. What if you had the chance to tap into those 96 to 98% of your dormant potential? Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm not saying you're going to get all of it, but if you had tools to really get deeper, to really get more of what you want to your surface, to bring yourself out, wouldn't that be something? So now you've got the power with the 3 secrets, with an hour of value-packed teaching, to go out there and practice and change your life and change your business. And if that's what you feel that you're ready to do, then I really wish you the best of success, because this material has the power to do so. You can make huge changes with what you're getting here today. There is a lot left though. And if you want to just skip over the trial and error and you decide that you don't want to wait and take chances and take detours and go the zigzag path, there is a faster way. There is a much better way. Because you see, I've decided to give you a space in my calendar. So I'm going to open up, and I've done that already. I'm just going to copy this in here in case you're on a mobile device. So you can book a game plan call with me. I've cleared 6 spots in my calendar. And what I want you to do is I want you to scan the code there with your phone. That'll take you straight into my calendar link, and you can book a free call. Now, this is a game plan call. It's totally free. We'll be talking for half an hour, okay? So if you scan the code, we'll get you onto my schedule and we'll talk face to face, just you and me. Completely free. We're going to discuss 3 things in this call. And that's really important to understand. We're going to talk about, what do you want to achieve? What is it that you're driven by? How do you see your life? And what is it that you want, that you're struggling with, that you want to overcome? That's the next thing. We're going to look at what's stopping you from overcoming those hurdles that are in the way. We're going to look at what's holding you back, why you're not achieving this on your own right now. And then lastly, I will provide a pathway for you based on the information that we gathered together from this talk on how you can move forward, get unstuck, get your life moving in the right direction, and especially get your business cracking. So we really want you to move forward with confidence, with ease, and really thrive. You've got big goals, all of you guys, I know. And if you want to make them much more easily than trying all this on your own, I think we should talk, because I can help you. What you're going to learn on that call what you're going to walk away with. You're going to walk away with a plan. You're going to walk away with an idea of how you can achieve that. And then it's up to you what you will do next. But this is what I want to provide you with. Now, there's only 6 spots because that's just my calendar and I can't do more than that right now. But those 6 spots will fill up and I'm very happy to spend time with you. And I really urge you to do that because that's the best way forward, okay? That'll be the smartest move on your part. Because you know what? I want you to be my next success story, like I had so many others already. And this will be the first step that you make. We talked about action, and we want you to take action. Now, you see, Napoleon Hill said, successful people make decisions fast, and they change their mind very slowly, if at all. And that's what I want you to think about. If you want to be successful, you need to also learn how to make decisions. Decision making is so powerful. And we'll talk about that in another episode. I run out of time here today. But who here is ready to break through the stalemate, go to the next level, and book your call? That's as simple as it is. In the meantime, this is what happened to Anna. I mean, she actually put this up for me the other day, and I was very happy to read it. She said, I've spent years doing courses, but this is absolutely 5-star and more. Jörg is an extraordinary coach, and you'll be living a life beyond your expectations. She finds that there is everything to gain. And I believe that if you book your call, you're going to find that you're going to walk away with more than you had before. So it's going to be, in my opinion, it's a win-win for you in any case. So who is this call for? If you're an entrepreneur who is overworked, stressed out, then you should make the call. If you're tired of trying new strategies that don't work, and you've probably seen dozens, if not hundreds of them, that call would help you. If you're tired of feeling stuck, book the call. If you're committed and willing to invest into yourself, and this is a key, you have to be able to make a step towards you. You have to make a decision for you. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to get much success also with trial and error on your own. This material has worked for thousands of people all over the world, and it'll work for you. So what I suggest is book the call. And in the meantime, I want to have a look if there is any questions as well. So let me just have a look. If there are questions, we'll go into the question and answer module here. Okay, guys, while you guys are thinking about your questions, I want to just come up with some of the common questions that have been asked. For example, what is an example of a goal, a proper C-type goal that really inspires? So I would say you could have an example like this. It would be like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I easily earn whatever, $100,000 monthly by helping my clients achieve X, Y, Z, and it feels great. So we're talking present tense, we're talking an exact amount of money and an exact goal, a clearly defined goal. And we're putting a little bit of emotion into it. And that's very important because emotion is like the glue that puts it all together and makes your subconscious mind react. Okay, another one of the questions that I have had before is, why is decision-making so important? And yes, it is. Decision-making is one of the key skills. We haven't addressed it here in great detail, but if you don't make decisions, that's a decision in itself, and it's called indecision, okay? And indecision turns into ambivalence, and that leads into a loss of confidence. And we know where loss of confidence leads to. It leads to no action, and it becomes a negative spiral, leads to confusion. And it's your paradigm that then stays in control, won't let you out of that cage. So decision-making is when you make a decision, a snap decision, based on your higher intuition, before your paradigm kicks in and tries to outwit you with all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't be doing this. So if you haven't booked your call yet, I urge you to do that, because if that's what you feel you should be doing, then don't hesitate. Don't let your paradigm talk you out of it, because that's what it's good at, okay? So what other questions are there? If you guys have anything in the question and answer box, let me see. Okay, you guys are not asking any questions today. But what I want to do is I want to be clear of what you will get. I want you to get unstuck. I want you to thrive in your business. And I want you to reach your goals. And I want to help you find your goal, define it properly so that you can really move. I want to help you find what's holding you back and what is your particular rubber band. What is your area of the paradigm that is pulling you back? And then I'm going to help you craft a plan. So booking the call means you're going to walk away with a plan, no matter what. And that's where you really score on this, okay? Right, folks, your success depends on your decisions. So it's been fantastic doing this webinar here today. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you did too. And I want to thank you for attending here today. And if you don't have any further questions, here's one more time the Q code. If you guys don't have any more questions for now, then let me know in your emails if you have questions later, or you can reach me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Basically, I'm everywhere on social media. And so you can find me, reach out to me. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for joining me. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I'll talk to you in the calls that are coming up. All the best to you. Appreciate you. Grateful for your presence. Thank you very much. And I'll see you soon.